Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be learning about safety using a PTO, otherwise known as a power takeoff, specifically in a tractor and baler setup, just like this fun little clip art right here. So starting off, some important considerations to have before even operating a PTO is to always disengage it. Shut off the engine and remove the keys before leaving the tractor seat. This is a really important consideration to keep in mind because the inertia from the flywheel can continue to go even after shutting it off, and this can be dangerous and where a lot of accidents happen because operators think that the engine is shut off and the PTO isn't going, but can still cause damage, cut off fingers, things like that. Another consideration that's also very important is to keep the tractor master shields in place at all times. This is the safety around the PTO itself, in between the tractor setup and the baler or any other implement that you may be using that has a PTO. And this is just a precaution to keep those fingers and clothing items that you may be wearing from getting caught in the PTO. And then also check frequently to confirm that those integral shields are in good condition. They can weather over time from sun use as well as being out in the cold, especially here in Utah. If a baler is left outside, that can weather over time, and so really important to check those in the springtime and before operation of any type of equipment. And then never step over or across a rotating power shaft. So this is behind the tractor. I know it's mundane and frustrating sometimes to have to walk all the way around the implement and or baler, but this is really important just because that is an operating piece of a machinery that can be harmful and damaging to yourself and whole clothing in. And then finally, just dress for safety. No baggy clothes, or raggedy strings or anything that are hanging off your sweatshirt or t-shirt or pants that could get caught in the rotating power shaft itself. This is an example of operating a PTO gone wrong. This is not an actual person, disclaimer, but you can see right here that the clothing item was too loose, as well as just stepping across that PTO, that drive line right there. So then this is a Massey Ferguson 1840 baler, which is what we are going to be looking at today. So right here is the PTO shaft that we've been talking about. And so keeping in mind those considerations to not step over this part of the baler that's connected to the tractor. Always walk around instead of stepping over, and making sure that this is shut down completely. So this flywheel right here will continue to rotate even after you shut the PTO off. So it's important consideration to remember that when stepping out of the tractor to look at this piece of the equipment. Again, here's another angle of that PTO. So this is what drives the baler itself so that it can pick up that hay, go through here, and make that bale. So the reason it's called a PTO or power takeoff is it's the power source from the tractor to operate this entire baler. And so it's a really integral part of any sort of tractor and baler implement process. And so remembering that this is the key to making those nice bales. So when we operate this as in the lab, it's important to remember that this piece right here is the most important part of the baler, and so making sure that we understand how that's utilized within this piece of equipment and how to operate that. So then finally, we're going to stop right here and watch a video of a PTO engaged in the Massey Ferguson 1840 baler. So here coming up, you can see that PTO operating. See that flywheel right there, picking up the hay and then giving us a nice small bale to feed to our livestock. Again, you can see this operator has a sun hat on to keep himself out of the sun, nice shirt, closed-toed shoes, and pants that we will be wearing in the lab. Again, sunglasses are great, so that way you can see what you're doing if it's bright out. And again, seeing that this is kept clean back here, the pickup where it's picking up the hay, and it's important consideration also to remember that if you're in grass hay, it can wrap around the PTO itself, and so keeping an eye on that when you are operating a baler is very, very important. And again, you're seeing right there, there's that PTO, making that nice bale.